So, welcome and hi everyone. I'm Karina Lade. I'm an intuitive channel, a healer, and a mentor for conscious entrepreneurs. And today I've got the great pleasure, great joy to welcome my dear friend and soul sister, Lara Waldman. Hi, Lara. Overexcited puppies. And so Lara is an amazing healer. She's an abundance activator. She's one of the people who I know who knows the most about money and abundance in such a deep and spiritual and healing and expansive way. She's also written a book about money manifestation, and she's been doing her work for many, many years now. And so I'm super excited to have Lara with us today because she will be one of the guest teachers in my intuitive business program for conscious entrepreneurs, the Embrace Your Purpose program that starts in September. And I love inviting Lara to everything I do because she has so much wisdom to share, and she does it in such a high, with such a high vibe and so much joy. And she's such an amazing person. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Karina. Always a pleasure to hang out with you and your beautiful full tribe.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. The women, often women, some men who come into my programs are just, out of this world, to say the least. So very, very cool. And so, Laura, I would love for you to share a bit about, I guess, the wisdom that you have gathered when it comes to conscious entrepreneurs, people, women who have really high energies, who are very connected, who do amazing work, and how to welcome more money into their lives, but not just money. I guess it's the everything that money brings too, because sometimes that's not their number one concern.
Okay, juicy. So money, in the way that I like to speak about it, is really fun. Number one, how I use money is as a vehicle for entrepreneurs, for business owners, for the movers and the shakers of the world, people who are here knowing that they've got a purpose. They've got something they want to share, they've got something they want to bring, they're doing that already, but they know that there's more for us to expand into. And us entrepreneurs, business owners, we know sometimes when we're not like fully achieving or reaching our full potential, right? There's that feeling like, I know there's more to expand into. I'm not quite hitting the mark. So money, obviously we need money in our physical world and in our bank accounts, and that's great. But how I like to use it is a way to open up to receive all aspects of life, but also to receive yourself, to fully embody all that you are, your gifts, your energy, joy, your pleasure, and also to really enjoy life, to enjoy your experience in your business, in your life, in your body, being alive, basically. Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, and I think that's so interesting because I know that you've spent a lot of time really embodying some of these things, like embodying more joy, embodying more pleasure, because I find that for a lot of the women I meet, they're so generous. And they're so like always being in service, always supporting others. And I think these are amazing qualities. But sometimes it's like over giving, right? Giving so much and then feeling guilty for taking time off, for feeling guilty for taking care of themselves. And sometimes I guess having relationships in their lives where they are the givers. They are the ones that everyone comes to. And so it's been really interesting to watch you really spend time receiving. And I guess also receiving so much that it almost feels uncomfortable.
Yeah. And what I find hilarious is the very thing that I teach, which is one of the steps. It's like what step is it? Step 3 in my money manifestation book is receiving. I teach about this thing, and yet there's still these areas, these little shadow bits, these hidden parts of myself where I still wasn't receiving. And it's very deep, this deep reasons why we don't. But again, massively, I didn't even realize the level I was overgiving.
Mm.
And it was like giving out information, wanting to help others. And it all comes from a really great place.
Mm.
But it's like we can't exhale without the inhale. We have to have that balance of giving and receiving. And also to include ourselves in life. So we have this tendency to create a separation. And what if we are just as much part of what we're trying to give? You know, we're part of this life. We're part of this experience. We're part of our business. We can include ourselves. And it goes super deep why we block ourselves from receiving. But I was really forced this last year to fully stop kind of being active in my work and active in my business so that I could really get this on a deeper level. Like, Lara, you are going to receive. You're being pinned down and forced. Just stop, girl. And I had no idea how much I was still, resisting. I was just ready for that next level. And it was really about, well, there's many ways we can talk about receiving money, but receiving yourself is, for me, what I've been getting over this last year in particular is this coming back home to yourself, that you are rooted in your life, you're rooted in your body, you're rooted in your business, that you are part of it. And then you can receive from everything that you're creating. So you're not creating just outwardly to give, you're also creating to receive. And for simply the joy and the pleasure of being alive, I think.
Yeah, and I find that that's such a feminine way of working, because often when we become entrepreneurs, we look a lot at the traditional business model. So it's a lot about doing all the time, being really active, being out there. And I find that especially for very sensitive, intuitive, empathic souls, it's just exhausting. And most people who do this all the time are actually exhausted, or they burn out, or they get ill, or they get some kind of wake-up call, because it's just not a sustainable way of living. And that's something that I teach a lot in my program. It's create a business that's sustainable, because otherwise it's not like a sprint where you work really hard for 1 year and then you can just relax. It's like, can you imagine working this way for the next 20, 30, 40 years? Is that how you created your business and your life? And so making sure that we have enough fun, enough rest, enough pleasure in life too, because sometimes we have this end goal in mind and then we work really hard to get there, and we can end up being much harder on ourselves than any boss we could ever imagine, right? And then allowing that, and also seeing it as part of your business, because I tell the women in my groups that a lot, like rest and play, and doing fun things like creative things, or going dancing, or hanging out with friends, or just lying down and not doing anything. That's part of your business. That's not something you get when you have time, or something you have to deserve. Like, you have to put it into your time, right? Your schedule, because it's part of your business. Because otherwise you're just going to be, I guess, pulling from energy that you don't really have. And it's so different. And we can all feel that, right? With people that we go to, if they are overflowing with love and energy, or if they are like exhausted. And of course, because our clients are all super sensitive and intuitive, so they know this stuff. So it's really, I guess, doing our work from a different way, where we start from the inside and then we go out.
Yeah, it's essential. It is absolutely essential to have that rest and play time. And yet our programming and the way we've been trained, it's like, even me, I teach this stuff and I still go, really? Is this really going to create in my life? Doing things just for the joy of it. But I know, because that's often where we get our ideas. It's often where we get our inspiration. It brings in creative energy. When we're relaxed, we can achieve so much more actually than when we're stressed out, because often some of the action, like when we're in a good place, like some of the action is pretty simple and straightforward. When you're stressed and overwhelmed, oh my God, you can create a mountain out of a molehill just from your thoughts. So, but it's I actually think we are birthing a whole new way of doing business right now. I really feel that there's this whole other way of creating, of being effective, of our idea of success as well.
Mm.
Because I feel like that hard work, kind of bigger is better mentality is a real catch-22.
Mm.
And it's a bit of a lie, but it keeps our ego kind of, it feeds the ego, right? We're going to have this big business and make multi-millions and that's great. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's fun. But it's this idea that like, we're like constantly chasing our tail or chasing our dreams, or like, I'm going to work hard like for someday or one day.
Mm.
And that may work, but it's like the point of life is to actually be enjoying it now, to be living it now in the present.
Mm.
And when we're chasing dreams or chasing ideas, it doesn't bring that fulfillment that we're really truly looking for. And I've been through this personally. You know, I've had like goals and gone for them, and that was great, but I found I'd reached the goal, I'd reached the target, and I felt incredibly unfulfilled by it.
Mm.
And it surprised me and kind of shocked me. I thought, oh, I thought that I wanted that thing. And then I manifested or created it and realized that wasn't really what I was asking for. So we've got to be taking this time and space for so many reasons, but also to learn how to enjoy the now, to be okay in what is now. Because if we're not okay in what is now, we're never going to be okay. Do you know? It's not, that thing is not going to go away, no matter how much money you make or how successful you become, or how many clients you have, or how many followers you have, or whatever it is, right? So.
Yeah, and it's kind of like creating from a place of lack, isn't it? Like, I need that to feel happy. Like, I need to make more money, or I need more people to follow me. And it's like, I guess it's asking for things for the wrong reasons. However, I was going to ask you a question, because something that I felt a lot, because I feel like I had like big dreams when I first started my business. And then, well, they weren't huge dreams, but they were big dreams for me. Like, making enough money so that my husband could quit his job that he didn't like at the time and be able to support our family and to have fun and do my work that I love, and have that freedom and travel. And that was like my huge, huge, huge goal. And actually it happened quite quickly. Within like a year I was making okay money. And then within 2 years, my husband actually quit his job. So it's not a linear thing where everything's perfect, but it's been kind of up and down. But that's our reality and has been for a few years. So what happened for me is that I kind of had that drive to get to my goal because I really, really wanted that. And once I got it, I was like, oh, so how do I do business now? Because now I feel like I'm just asking for more of what I have, and more like, oh, I'd like to travel more, or, have more money in my savings, or that kind of thing. But that's not really something that drives me the way my real goal that I first started with was. So what happens when you are really grateful for what you have and you feel like, wow, if I don't get anything more than what I have now, I'm just insanely grateful and happy for that. But you still want to keep growing, because at the same time, like you said at the beginning, there's something that always kind of not pushes me, but I guess invites me to keep growing, because I think that's just part of us being human and wanting to expand into more of who we are. So how do you set goals or go for things when you're also very grateful and happy with what you have and you don't have that need?
Good question. Well, first of all, how beautiful and amazing for you to have achieved your big goal. That's so awesome. And so proud of you. It's so amazing.
Yes, thank you.
And it's really funny. So I'm in the same place where actually things are good, and I've, worked hard to get to this place. So what's the driver now? What motivates me now? What is it? Where are we at? What are we looking to create, to experience? And for me, my focus has changed more so I was quite inspired to create things in my business because it made me feel really excited. And I also realized on a soul level, it was there to stretch me beyond my fears and out of my comfort zone. So I was guided to do things in my business, for actually my own self-development, and also for others, of course. But now it's like fine-tuning. So rather than this idea of chasing this external dream, it's more about my internal experience. And I think with each of us, we need to really listen. And again, why we need to relax and take time out and chill is so we can really deeply listen, deeply hear. What is it that your heart and soul is calling you into next? What is this next phase about? And for me right now, it's like learning to really embody joy and pleasure and allow myself to live a life from that place, which feels quite radical and controversial.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
What? So, but allowing that, you know, and actually that's quite a profound experience. And even though it's a simple thing to say, so that's where I'm at now. And it's just about listening. What are you being called into? What are you ready for? Because I do believe that we're always growing and expanding. I don't believe that we ever sit still in a sense with our growth. On the level of our soul, there's always something we want to explore, to experience, to discover. Well, at least that's me. I don't know. Maybe that's not everybody. I love exploring and discovering. But it doesn't always have to be like chasing big goals. It can also be about an experience. It can be about a feeling. It can be about fine-tuning what you have, like taking care of what you already have. So what I've found for me, this shift, it's not so sexy. It's not so dramatic. You know, it doesn't feed my ego in the same way, but it's much more fulfilling and nurturing and sustainable. So yeah, I guess the analogy is like a garden. You might, let's say you move into a new house and you decide you want to like completely redo the garden. That might be quite an exciting creative process. Once you've got the garden going, then it's about regular maintenance, right? Regular tending, and you can buy a new plant maybe, but it might not be such a big and huge shift, but it's still really important and will have a big impact. It'll make your garden more and more beautiful, you know? Weed and prune.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think it's interesting because sometimes that chasing after a goal can have that kind of almost like addictive thing. We've talked about this too, Lara, because we're quite similar in that, like the excitement, being addicted to the excitement, and then sometimes overextending ourselves, but it's so exciting and feeling really alive. And I find it so interesting once we're not attached to a certain result because we don't need it in the same way. And then just doing things because we want to, because we really love it, because it feels good. But it's more that kind of, I don't know, maybe down to earth. I'm really loving this. I'm really taking my time with this, kind of like with a passionate new lover, right? Or being in a long-term amazing relationship where it's really about deepening the connection maybe more than that, like the high of the first weeks.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, isn't it? Yeah. It's a different experience, but one hopefully more like nurturing, fulfilling, and gives you longer term satisfaction.
Yeah, I think so too. And sometimes it's also maybe it's more genuine and more real in a sense. Because sometimes chasing after a goal, it's like we sacrifice a lot of things to get there, and we're not as present. I know I've had times when I felt a bit like, oh, I have so much work to do. If I didn't have like my family around or my kids disturbing me or whatever life stuff, I'd be, you know, further ahead. I'd be doing more. And then I was like, wait a minute. Like, if this was my last week in life, where do I really want to put my energy? So I think it also helps us to really focus on what our priorities are. Because although our businesses are important and we love what we do, if it takes over everything, that's kind of sad, isn't it? Because everything else is our life. And I think if we had to choose between, you know, our business or our families or our friends or our own health, hopefully we would not choose our businesses. And I think that's important as well, to really look at, like, be mindful of where we put our energy and our focus, and just being really present where we are.
Absolutely. It's not an easy thing to juggle, is it? There's a lot of different areas of life, but business is just one aspect of life. And I've definitely went way too far out of balance with almost being a bit obsessed by it. Like, it was so exciting and thrilling and fulfilled me on such a level that I ended up neglecting other areas. Now it's very much about balance and about, you know, nurturing every area of life. And I think that brings true fulfillment. Otherwise you can be really successful in one area and then really deprived in another, and that's not going to make you happy either. So it's not an easy thing to juggle, But it's super important to keep that balance, to keep perspective. And like you, what I like to ask sometimes, if I had 6 months to live, what do I choose? You know, what is the most important thing? And then whatever I choose, giving that a little bit more time and energy and more focus.
Yeah, so important, I think, and to take a step away from our businesses and our lives and take like a higher perspective and be like, okay, this is my creation, this is what I want, and then always fine-tuning, because it evolves over time, doesn't it? And I think depending on our age, our situation in life, because sometimes we really want to immerse ourselves in our businesses, and sometimes we have other priorities, and so making sure that our businesses are always, I really want my business to fit into my life, not the other way around, so that whatever I'm going through in life, my business can kind of flow with that. And for me, that's one of the best things about having your own business is that, well, if I want to take more time off in the summer to be with my kids, I can do that. Like right now, so it's summer, and so I have meetings with clients and meditations and my group work mornings and evenings often, and then during the day I go like swimming with my kids and we have fun, and then it feels like work feels like being on vacation, that kind of feel, which is really, really awesome. And then there are going to be times when I'm going to be more immersed in my work and less in my life stuff, and then it creates a balance, I guess, over the year and through the seasons, which I find a lot more efficient, actually, working with the flow again, instead of against it, because that's one thing too, when we listen and we tune in, we also know how our bodies feel, and we're not running ourselves over, because we actually notice the tension, or that we need to move a bit more, maybe eat better, whatever it is.
Absolutely. I was just going to say that, because there are phases and there are stages, and sometimes it might be the right thing to just go for a goal and to grow your business, and sometimes it might be the right thing to take that time out and be on a holiday, but we'll know if we're really listening or taking that time out to really check in. What is, like, where am I focusing my energy right now? What do I need to be doing? And I find if we're really listening to our intuition, really listening to our heart and soul, we'll know. But it does take a lot of trust, because sometimes it does, you get told to do things that go against what you think, what your mind might be telling you. But absolutely, it's sort of working with your own personal seasons, like your body and your soul's journey and whatever's showing up for you in your life.
Yeah, and like doing everything wholeheartedly. I love that. Like being wholeheartedly in my business, and then showing up wholeheartedly with my kids or my husband or my friends or myself, like just being fully here and enjoying all parts. I think that's such a great thing. And sometimes we feel that and then we don't. And so it's like doing what we need to come back to that feeling of being in the right place and being fully present and really enjoying. And also the difficult moments, to really be present with that, so we're not rushing through life. So yeah, well, thank you so much, Lara. I love chatting with you, and we could talk for hours, of course. But I wanted to invite everyone, if you want to learn more from Lara, I'll share the link to her website, and she's also on Facebook and Instagram. She's got a great YouTube channel with lots of meditations and great energy processes to work on money, abundance, everything connected to that, the challenges and difficulties sometimes, and also like finding that joy and inviting more pleasure into your life so that you can receive more of whatever it is that you long for. And I'm super happy that Lara will be doing a live workshop in the Embrace Your Purpose program. So we start in September, and this program runs for 6 months. And it's a really deeply transformational program. This is the third time I'm running it, and I can just feel how it's taking us really deeply, and there's going to be a lot of expansion, a lot of growth. So for the women who feel called to step into their purpose and to really embrace more of who they are, it's going to be amazing to welcome all of you in end of September, and Lara will be doing her workshop live so that you can really get to play with her as well, because we'll be talking a little bit, but Lara will be doing some live energy work as well, and it's really powerful. And yeah, it's an amazing way to welcome in more money, more joy, more abundance, whatever that looks like for you, so that you can show up more fully and embrace more of who you are, and really reach the people that you are here to reach and connect with your soul family. So thank you so much, Lara. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you to everyone else. So I wish you a beautiful day, and let's connect in soon. Bye.